What is the Grudge based on? The weird ghosts in Ju-On or the Grudge had a strong impact in Western public. But did you know these were inspired in some popular Japanese ghosts and victims? But before I talk about them, let me warn you that according to Japanese folklore, if you listen to some of the contents of this video, you will be cursed. So now is the time to leave. You still want to know? Okay. I did warn you. Onryo. Onryo is a phantasmagorical being composed of grudge, wrath, jealousy, and need for revenge. Usually the spirit of a person who died a violent, unfair, sadistic, or cruel death. Usually represented with long, black, unkempt hair, pale skin, and white funerary kimono. Onryos are famous for affecting the health, luck, and sanity of those mortals responsible for its death, though sometimes Onryos harass and affect mortals that had nothing to do with their death, but are in a place where the violent death occurs. Tatari was the act of vengeance exercised by these supernatural beings. Vengeance was usually the motive of these spirits, such as the spirit of Hirotsugu, who killed the priest Genbo, who in life was its enemy. The spirit of Samurai's wife, who asks his husband to promise her not to remarry, ends up ripping off the head of a young bride this samurai takes, ignoring his promise to her. Sawara's spirit, who killed his brother Emperor Konmu for falsely accusing him and having him exiled, thus causing his death. But Sawara's Tatari was not limited to killing his brother. It also caused natural disasters such as lightnings and earthquakes. This caused the court to try to lift the curse by restoring the dead man's position and disclaiming the emperor's accusations. Yotsuya Kaidan, or Oiwa's story. Oiwa, a character of Yotsuya Kaidan, is the most famous Onryos of them all, and its story has been a strong influence for modern Japanese horror. Oiwa is the wife of Lemon, a former Ronin whose poverty has forced him to fabricate paper umbrellas to take care of her sick wife and child. Upon receiving a wedding proposition from a wealthy woman, Lemon decides to kill her wife and child. He purchases poison and convinces Oiwa to drink it so it can help her with her illness. When she drinks it, she loses her hair, her face becomes disfigured, and her right eye pops out of its socket and hangs on her cheekbone. When she looks at her disfigured face in a mirror, she dies from a shock. On another version of the story, Lemon sends for a friend of his to rape Oiwa and have a legal reason to divorce her, but when his friend looks at Oiwa's face, he is terrorized and confesses Lemon's plan to Oiwa, and even presents her with a mirror. Oiwa looks at her disfigured face for the first time. She tries to cover her face, but when she does, clumps of hair fall from her head. She kills herself after this, and curses Lemon while she dies. Lemon crucifies her wife's corpse to a wooden door and throws her corpse to the river. As for the child, it is unclear what happened to him, but assumed to have been murdered by Lemon. With Oiwa out of the way, he marries the rich girl, but on his wedding night, he is violently awakened to the sight of Oiwa's ghost lying beside him. Scared, Lemon quickly jumped out of the bed to grab his sword. He slashed Oiwa's head, and only then an illusion ended, showing Lemon that he had in fact decapitated his new rich bride. He ran to his new father-in-law's house for help, and when he entered, he was chased by Oiwa's ghost. Desperate, He took out his sword and slashed the ghost in half, but as he did, another illusion ended and he noticed he had slain his father-in-law. Lemon fled, but wherever he went, Oiwa's ghost haunted him, even appearing in the lanterns that lit his way. He retired to the mountains where her ghost continued to appear to him even in dreams. With no way out of the madness, he kills himself. Oiwa appears in a popular kabuki play from the 19th century and was based on a real person and case that occurred in 1636. Her shrine exists in Tokyo to appease her ghost, who continued to haunt all who pass by. Her tatari or revenge varied from haunting to causing accidents, or to directly kill all whom she decided to curse. Reading, hearing, telling, or representing the story of Oiwa disturbs her and makes her haunt the readers and storytellers, thus making them appease her by visiting her shrine and asking for permission to talk about her, or apologizing for listening to her story. Think of that while you sleep. An Onryo's aspect. Oiwa's aspect, which came in part from kabuki representation of ghosts, with white makeup, black hair, and white funerary kimono, also inspired the ghost in the Grudge and Ringyu. Ringyu's eye is a direct reference to Oiwa's damaged eye, and the hair that constantly appears in the Grudge is also a direct reference to Oiwa's falling black hair. The murderer's husband and the child are also present in the Grudge. As the Onryo in Ju-On or the Grudge, Oiwa is not confined to a place as a Victorian ghost is. She can appear anywhere the cursed person goes. This new kind of haunting was what made Oiwa so popular and so feared amongst the Japanese public. Kayako. Though Oiwa's story sounds strikingly familiar to Ju-On's, there is another urban legend that is almost identical to the movie. Kayako, a Japanese woman, was killed by her husband, who found her diary and suspected infidelity from her. He stabs her wife and crushes her windpipe, leaving her unable to speak. In his rage, he kills his own son. Kayako would return to exercise her tatari by haunting the world. Unlike Oiwa, Kayako's story is not based on a real one. The legacy. Ju-On and Ringyu changed Western horror for good and introduced the world of Onryos and their curses to common places, taking the ghosts out of haunted houses, temples, and graveyards. What other Onryos do you know? Are there any similar ghost stories in your country? We'd love to read your stories in the comments section. If you want to know more about Japanese ghosts or other Japanese horror movies, be sure to let me know in the comments section. That is all for now, but good night.